They only gave him one rule on his first night. No matter what he heard, no matter how real it sounded, he was never supposed to open room 6 after midnight. At the time, it didn't seem like a serious warning. It felt more like a joke. Daniel had just started working the night shift at a small roadside motel somewhere off a quiet highway in the middle of America, the kind of place most people only stopped at if they had no other choice, with a flickering neon sign, a half-empty parking lot, and a long row of identical doors stretching into darkness. It was cheap, it was quiet, and according to the owner, it was easy work. The owner was an older man named Harris, who barely explained anything during the interview, just handed Daniel a set of keys and said, "Check guests in. Keep the lights on. And don't leave the desk." Then, right before walking out, he stopped, turned back slowly, and said something that stuck, "And after midnight, don't open room 6. Daniel had laughed, thinking it was just some weird motel humor, because every place had its quirks. Maybe room 6 had a broken lock, or maybe it was under maintenance, and either way, he didn't ask. The first few hours of his shift were uneventful. A couple checked in around 10 p.m., a truck driver grabbed a room near the end, and after that, silence. By 11:45 p.m., the motel felt completely empty. The air inside the office felt heavier, like the building itself was settling, or listening, and Daniel sat behind the counter, scrolling through his phone, occasionally glancing at the security monitor, where every door was closed, every light steady, everything normal. At exactly 12:03 a.m., there was a sound, a soft, dull knock. Daniel froze, looked up at the monitor, but saw nothing. The hallway was empty. Then it came again, knock, knock, this time louder, clearer, and coming from somewhere specific. Room 6. Daniel stared at the screen. The camera facing that section flickered slightly, but the door to room 6 looked closed. No movement, no one outside, and he told himself it was probably a guest. Maybe someone got locked out, maybe the camera angle was off. Then, a voice, muffled, barely audible, "Hello." Daniel's chest tightened. He leaned closer to the monitor. Still nothing. Then again, "Can someone open the door?" The voice sounded weak, desperate, like someone had been stuck inside for hours. Daniel stood up, hesitated for a moment, then grabbed the master key. The owner's words crossed his mind, "Don't open room 6, but he exhaled and shook it off, muttering, "This is stupid," before stepping out into the hallway. The air outside felt colder, unnaturally still. The buzzing of the lights seemed louder now, and room 6 was halfway down the corridor. Each step toward it felt heavier than the last. The knocking had stopped. Now, it was silent, and Daniel stood in front of the door. For a moment, nothing. Then the handle moved, slowly, gently, like someone on the other side was testing it, and Daniel stepped back instinctively, his grip tightening around the key as he called out, "Hello," but there was no response, just silence. Then softly, right against the door, "Please." Daniel swallowed. His hand hovered near the lock. Every instinct told him to walk away, but the thought of someone trapped inside was stronger, so he unlocked the door and pushed it open. The room was dark, completely empty, no luggage, no person, no sign that anyone had been inside, just cold air, and Daniel stepped in slowly as the temperature dropped instantly, like stepping into a freezer. The bathroom door creaked slightly as it swayed open, empty, and when he turned back toward the main room, he noticed something. The bed, the sheets were slightly pressed in, as if someone had just been sitting there, watching him. Daniel backed away, his breathing quickened. He stepped out of the room and shut the door immediately, locked it, and walked quickly back to the office without looking back. The rest of the night, nothing happened, no more knocking, no voices, just silence. At 6 a.m., the owner returned, and Daniel didn't wait. He told him everything, the knocking, the voice, opening the door, but the owner didn't react the way Daniel expected. He didn't look surprised. If anything, he looked tired. He sighed, walked over to the desk, pulled out the guest register, flipped a few pages, then turned it toward Daniel. Room 6, occupied. Daniel frowned. That's not possible, he said. No one checked in, but the owner didn't respond. He just pointed at the name written beside the room number. Daniel leaned closer and felt his stomach drop. The name was his, Daniel Carter, checked in at 12:07 a.m., the exact time he had opened the door. Daniel stepped back slowly. I didn't write that, he said, and the owner finally spoke, quietly. They never do. Silence filled the room. Daniel shook his head. This isn't funny, but the owner closed the register and said, you should go home. Daniel didn't argue. He grabbed his things and left. The morning light outside felt wrong, too bright, too empty. He got into his car, started the engine, and for the first time since the night began, he looked at himself in the rearview mirror. For a second everything seemed normal, then something moved, not outside, not behind him, but in the reflection, inside the motel, standing in the hallway, right outside room 6, was him, smiling, perfectly still, watching. Daniel blinked and it was gone. He turned around quickly. The motel stood silent, like nothing had ever happened, but back inside, in room 6, the bed shifted slightly, as if someone had just sat down again, waiting for the next guest to check in.